Can't get rid of me, hey, 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 hey. I run the underground like a fucking marathon. I go to sleep in the hard head to the job done. These niggas only put in work when it seem fun. But to be a boss, you gotta have boss growth some. Why should I stunt hard for a bunch of fronters when most of y'all never seen money? Stevie Wonder, to fix the mesh I made, I'ma need more than a plunger. And
making whole scene is sinking. Big dog, about to bring the motherfucking pain. Lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in, lock it in.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. It is I. You know what I mean? Yeah, let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. We're gonna have some fun with this episode. We gonna have some fun with this episode. You heard it here. Oh man. Okay, y'all ready? We're gonna hop into it. We're gonna hop into it. Alright. Let's get it going. You ready? Y'all ready? Not me! Yeah! I am your host, Mickey J, the analyst. You hear me? AKA the McBay.
Cut that bitch off.
With the big hands, you feel me? And say, man, you are watching the Gangsta and Gentleman Podcast. Get some claps in the chat. Yeah? You gonna love this one. Alright? You gonna love this one. So, okay. I don't plan on being long-winded. We're going to talk about today restraint. A lot of y'all still living by this. Old knuckle sandwich. My favorite, actually. If it ever came to it, I'd much rather walk away than be carried away, and not because of what the fisticuffs made me do. You know what I mean? That's just gangster. That's just what I am. You feel me? I feel like I'm the type of guy who and that's the problem. But we're gonna talk about that and so much more. You understand? So let's start here. Current day. These youngins ain't. These youngins will drill you. And if you add a K to that and drop the DR, that means that come on now, somebody.
Relax.
So, and pause on the drill. I just came out. That was crazy. That was crazy. That was one. Relax. Acknowledgement and accountability is everything. And that was crazy. These youngins will drill you was wild.
Hey, yo!
But we got to understand this, man. A lot of things that used to go under the old law don't apply anymore, G. Especially if you're in certain neighborhoods where it's predominantly young people and the elders don't have control of these youngins, right?
Facts.
And this is going to be an age-neutral episode. This is not just dedicated to young people or old people. Is there anybody who feels the need to have a violent heart or mindset or just has unnecessary aggression they don't know how to dispound of or dispose of properly. This is what we're going to speak to the powers of. First of all, let's start at the core, young men and women. When it comes to restraint, I hate the sound. I hate to go PBS, but geez, y'all really gotta start confronting your traumas. I mean, it's got to start there, bro. You got to start addressing your traumas, man. And that's more so to the older generation than it is these younger folks. Because trauma passes down trauma. So a lot of you youngins, it ain't your fault. It's some of these people that y'all supposed to be looking up to, or some of the elders that was responsible for giving you game, or giving you love, or giving you knowledge. Those are the people, in certain ways we don't understand, have damaged us until the damage is done. And we got to get out here in real life and have real relationships and deal with people who got to deal with our
shit like that. Shit like that.
And it ain't fair.
Shit like that.
And it ain't fair.
Nope.
And the hardest thing about confronting trauma is who caused it. Who caused it? And unfortunately, a lot of the time, the person who normally causes the trauma to us, if it's not just a random family member, it's probably the family member we love the most. If it wasn't from them doing something to us directly, it was from watching how they got done. Or how they were doing people, or how people were doing them. See, the older you get, the more you want to know why you behave the way you behave when you're angry, if you have anger issues. Now, here's one of Mickey's real nigga moments. Oh my God!
Hold on. Let's get this shit. Let's get this shit. Let's
God,
get
my
this
little
shit.
brother Gizzy. So, okay. One day, me and my little brother Gizzy, we were riding, as we used to do often. That was my main man. That was my co-pilot, a.k.a. the guy that was always on my right wing or the left. You get what I'm saying? So, when we ride, that's when we be vulnerable. That's when we have all these real life conversations. Because that's the only time we felt like we can say a bunch of things and we knew it was going to stay right there. And every man or woman should have that. Just somebody that they can confide in and just be vulnerable, right? Facts. So, Gizzy has a nasty attitude. Let's start there. Gizzy's attitude. I mean, I'm sure I haven't been around bro lately, and I'm sure he's not as aggressive as he used to be. But it's the difference between being aggressive because that's who you are, and being aggressive because that's how life made you. Right?
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
Story time with Mick now. So, one day me and little bro were riding. And like I told y'all on the last episode, I'm the dude in the hood with everybody, who everybody respects. They know it ain't. I'm always being one of the bigger guys.
What do you mean by that?
So I get looked at as one of the big. First of all, I ain't gotta explain that to y'all. If you ain't never been in certain settings and you're the bigger guy in that environment, you never know how that. I don't have to explain that. But if you are the bigger guy, you know what comes with it, right? Okay, say less. It's a lot of assumption, right? Okay, well, that's what came with me as well. But I really do that. You know, I was very heavy on the protection, especially over Gizzy. I mean, Batman and Robin. And I wasn't always Batman, and he wasn't always Batman. That's a good thing to know. When you don't always have to be that guy. I can let the reins go, he grabbed the reins. He let the reins go, I grabbed the reins. You know what I'm saying? Real brotherhood shit. But I'm sorry, get off track. Trying to build the character of who you're about to listen to understand he's a good guy. Actually a very good guy. Just troubled spirit.
Shit like that. Shit like
So
that.
my little brother would be like,
Shit like that. Shit like that.
we was riding one day, and I was getting on his ass about, he's like, just go from 0 to 100. And one thing about Gizzy stood on business, as I'm sure he do the current day. You get what I'm saying? One thing about my little brother Gizzy ain't no bitch. Let's just make that very clear. And Gizzy, if you seeing this, we already, you feel me? One thing about my little brother, my nigga Gizzy ain't no bitch, and I know for a fact that's I hope that's how he feels. You feel me? You never know. When you been riding there for a certain amount of time, you could be the old pussy ass nigga in the clique. Life is open. Niggas be like, yeah, man, I mean, you don't Mick went on that shit, but shit, Mick get like that. At least give me that. That nigga Mick get like that. Because that's how I'd rather be the nigga who get like that, who's the nigga who's like that. You get what I'm saying? And I don't understand why. Okay, I'm sorry. I keep, you know what I mean? I know if Gizzy see this shit, Gizzy gonna crack the fuck up. So, long story short, my little, like, I was getting on him about his attitude. I was like, little bro, you gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta learn how to control that shit. I said, listen, bro, in a nutshell, like, you gotta start expressing why you lashing out like this. Like, because like when he say some shit, he mean what he's saying in it. And this is the fucked up part about people like Gizzy. Gizzy like Donald. He like DT. I ain't gonna say his real name. He like DT, the honcho that run the shit. Currently. Yeah, I want to take the video down. So, just like DT, and when I say run this, I hope y'all know America. Just stay with me when I say DT. If you got it by now, you don't need to get it. I said that thing too fast for you. You too turtle-minded for me. We moving on. Hear me? He say things that mean well. He just say them in a fucked up way when he mad. See, that was his misconception. See, little brother just misunderstood. Because when he stood on business, it was overstood what he meant, but he said it in a fucked up aggressive way that made you feel some type of way if you don't got thick skin. Me and little brother been nose to nose. You get what I'm saying? Motherfucking beat to beat, cheek to cheek. You get what I'm saying? One thing I would never do is put my hands on my little brother. You get what I'm saying? We done touched up and all that shit. You got to train and test the nigga that's across from you in case some real shit ever happened. Just throwing that out there. But we never drew blood from each other or ever had the intent to. We too busy trying to make sure that nobody do that to us. As it should be. And a lot of y'all backstab ass niggas these days will never understand that type of loyalty. But anyway. I told him about that shit. He was like, you know what, man? He said, one of these days, no, that's not what he said. He said, Mick, you know what? You know what's crazy? You always telling me I'm angry, but you don't know how angry you really are.
The fuck?
That's verbatim. That's exactly what my nigga said. That's what he said. He said, nigga, you do a good job of smiling shit off. You do a good job of turning shit into jokes. But you don't understand how fucked up and angry you are inside. And I was like, nigga, what the fuck you mean? Fuck you mean, lame ass nigga? Obviously, I'm the nigga who's telling you and can communicate. So how the fuck? One thing about Gizzy's goddamn brilliant. I forgot to tell y'all. Gizzy's a goddamn genius. He just doesn't show that to everybody. So when Gizzy says something, it's always got double meaning, if not triple fucking meaning. Because he done peeped something. See, what Gizzy was trying to say, because I just told you, Gizzy wasn't good at conveying how he felt on a calm level when he's mad or on an emotional level if he's emotional. But he said that shit to me clear as fucking day. And that nigga just looked at me. And I just looked at him. And I was like, nigga, am I mad? Nigga, am I mad? Does the Mick man have anger problems? And then, as I'm driving, I just went down this journey of emotion inside of myself. The shit I've seen with my mom, the shit I've seen with my dad, the shit I've experienced with family members, the domestic disputes I've seen family members get in, the domestic disputes that I've watched friends and family go through, just the random street shit that I was in or I put myself in or that I was trying to protect somebody from. And then I realized how many times I could have lost my life for people who took it for granted at the time, who ended up doing the same things.
Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that. Shit like that.
And I was mad. And I was fucking mad. Moral of the story is, it takes some real shit to be said in the simplest way for you to start to work inside, to understand you're not as happy-go-lucky as you fucking think you are. That's what the fuck he was trying to convey to me. That's one thing little bruh said to me that stuck with me for the rest of my life. From that day forward, I never made myself feel like I was happy when I wasn't. And I was, at the time I still was, you know what I mean? But I was more aware of how I felt.
Message.
He experienced some trauma that turned him into a whole nother person. And ironically, I came back into his life after this trauma took place. Aww. So I was the voice, his conscience, for a lot of scenarios. I became his big brother when he felt like his own big brother wasn't being the proper big brother to him.
Shit like that. Shit like
and
that.
I just wasn't there for him. I was there for the rest of his siblings. I became a son to his mom. I lived with these people. You get what I'm saying? So when you see what situations can do to turn somebody's mindset into something else because they have a damaged spirit and a broken heart, you understand, damn, there's really no fixing that until this person can confront why they're upset. See, I hadn't took that type of loss shit. I had lost people that I loved, but I didn't. Who was I to tell him? Because in his mind, he's expressing how he feels healthily, because he's expressing it the moment he feel it. But one thing about Blue Bro was he didn't understand the effect of his words. See, when people love you, and you say certain stuff to them a certain way, those words cut more because of the relationship of what you're supposed to be to each other.
Message.
And throughout time, I'm sure he probably got a little better with that shit. But if that's who you are and that's what you are, it's no changing that. But it all starts with what he told me. You're not as happy as you think you are in certain situations. Because first of all, you got to start in here to understand why the fuck am I so angry? Why do I feel like if somebody say somebody could be saying the nicest thing in the world to me, but just because it's somebody I don't like or it's a stranger, I want to be an asshole today for some reason. A lot of this stuff be internal unresolved issues or just anger from death or rage from how you were raised or what you saw or what you've been through. It's hard to show restraint when nobody else around you is showing you how to. Nobody else around you is treating you as if they see and understand your anger. See, one thing about my little brother Gizzy, bro, is he didn't lie about how he felt about you. It's one thing my little nigga did not do. If he has a problem with you, he'd tell you. And you want to know why the fuck? Because me and him fell out a couple times. Fell out a couple fucking times. And it was because some maybe I did, some maybe he did. But one thing I never did is go out my way to say nothing extra to him. Because I knew I was already dealing with somebody who was already emotional when it came to how they felt. See, I'm logical. Little bro's emotional. That don't make him a bitch because he's emotional. That just make him more in tune. But that's a part of a weakness at some point. Because once you start lashing out and raging out at people, certain people use that as a tactic to make you look like the bad person.
Message.
And that's what my little brother went through for a long time. People are trying to paint you out to be the bad person because you're too damn vocal. And there is no such thing as too damn vocal.
Shit like that. Shit
You
like
get
that.
what I'm saying?
Shit like that. Shit
It's just only how you say things. And it's shit like that I used to have to convey to my little nigga. See, at the end of the day, all that nigga needed was tough fucking love. Somebody who would look him dead in the face when he mad and say, nigga, all right, look, bruh, stop. Chill the fuck out. You doing too fucking much. You talking to people crazy. Look at your demeanor. You got to come the fuck down. You got to relax. You can't look. You can't carry it like that. That's all my nigga needed. He needed another nigga to look him in the face and tell him he loved him. Pause. And mean it. And I mean that in the way of letting him know, nigga, I understand you.
Shit like that. Shit
I
like
understand
that.
what you're going through. I understand that they don't understand. And you mean well. And if you was in position, I know you change shit. But you're going about it the wrong way just because it's not happening the way you want it to happen.
Message.
And that's what a lot of people go out here and do. They have a bigger purpose that they see fit for them, their family, their kids. And when it don't happen at a certain amount of time, they feel like failures and don't know how to convey that shit. And to anybody who's out there like my little bro, you got to understand, you got to learn restraint. You got to learn that words are something that you can do something to somebody and they can never forget. And depending on what you do to them, that can heal. But words, some words will last. Some people will take some words to their grave, man.
Message.
Some people would take some words to their grave because some words and some things that you do with and the things that you say with your words, you just can't take back. Some shit, sorry, just won't fix.
Message.
So you got to know restraint. You got to know restraint. You got to understand that at the end of the day, there is somebody watching you and how you handle shit and the shit that you go through and monitoring how you deal with things and using you as a blueprint. And if they see you go out here and be aggressive and, you know what I mean, talking to people in a certain type of way or being over emotional when it's justified or whether it's not justified at times and seeing that that's how you carrying it, you be surprised who life you might be ruining because they might look up to you and you don't even know it. See, I used to have to tell my little nigga. He used to make it seem like everybody just love you, yada yada. Like, no, bro, it's not that everybody love me. It's that I take time to understand everybody. See, this is the fucked up part about people. Not everybody feels soft, even when they're right beside you.
Message.
Come on now, somebody. See, this shit has to be cerebral, what I'm saying to you now. Not everybody feels soft, even if they're right beside you. You got grown people walking around this world who in a room with a room full of grown people and still feel invisible. Because they're not vocal. They're not people who they feel are likable people or popular. Or they simply are just pushovers. And they're just a person in the room that everybody just knows is there. So the interaction is low. See, what I always did in the hood setting, if everybody's not in the same, on the same mode or mood, or, you know what I mean, I don't see everybody smiling or everybody chilling and dancing and drinking and smoking or whatever they choose to do, the person that's not who's off to themselves, I immediately go have a one-on-one with them alone. Just to get upstairs to make sure you understand, G. I don't know what you're going through. You could be angry. You could be about to crash out. Tonight could be the night that you chose to do something that was going to end not just your life, but somebody else's. But you'd be surprised what conversation can do to somebody.
Message.
You know how many people get around here all day that's quiet, that are complete psychos. And they fight every day to have restraint, not to be the person who made the news. That's why it's important to understand how to communicate. You understand? And shout out to my little brother Gizzy, man. I love you, baby. And I just say, hey, nigga, if you see this, I had to use you as a fucking example because you was a great example, nigga. You are to be used for this restraint topic. Because I've had to see you use some, and I see you lose some. And at the end of the day, you did tell me some real shit. You did tell me some real shit, my nigga. When you told me that shit never fucking left me, little bro. I swear to God, if I'm bringing it up now, clearly it never left. Because I was the person, and I still am. I'm still the person who I'm not. And that's what niggas label me as. Niggas label me as life at a party type shit. I don't try to be. All I can be is Mick, bro. I come in the party and I'm Mick. I come in the spot, the crib, the function, the shindig, whatever you want to call it, and I'm just being Mick. So whatever happens within my time at this event or little setup, just know I'm not trying to be seen. I just can't help the favor God gave me, kings and queens. I can't help it that my voice carry. I can't help it that I may have infectious energy. I can't help it that I make people smile and laugh. I can't help it that, I want to see everybody happy and show that I'm just not the big guy who thinks he's tough. It is more so humorous and loving and expressive and can have intellectual conversation. And that's one thing and that's one reason why I used to get on Gizzy ass too. Because, like I said, listen, my little nigga was brilliant. He just wasn't a hood nigga. We talked about real world shit. Real world shit. We was doing that shit at 18, 19, talking about real grown man shit. Shit that you supposed to have full beards for. Man, my nigga would sit at the table. We'd drink our booze or whatever else we choose. We won't quite legal, so we was knocking off them Norths. You feel me? We was knocking off them Smirnoffs heavy back then. Great and regular, you know what I mean? I take Apple back then. You know what I mean? We clearly graduated. But when you feel me, baby steps. We didn't, you know what I mean? It was good enough to get our little asses drunk. But the nigga would always have some real shit to say. And it used to frustrate me because you want to know some real shit? The worst thing you can see is somebody who got all the tools to be successful self-sabotage themselves at times because they can't show restraint. They can't control their emotions in that moment. See, little bro, one of those people, he got to say what he say. I can't not leave here without saying how I feel. That's little bro. He one of them. So how it's gonna go, it's gonna go. So, you heard the man. You feel me? That's my nigga. You heard the man. I mean, right or wrong, I got my nigga back until we alone. And then I'm on his ass. Oh. So it's just like, it took me to help him, and it took him to help me. You understand? See, I needed to see that version of what I could be, just like he needed to see this version of me and what he could be. Because I said, little bro, whether you know this shit or not, I am you. You're the version of me that's a little bit more unhinged. And I'm the version of you that's more controlled and more aware and more analytical and logical and can make those decisions in that moment. You got to get to this. I'm fighting every day not to do what you're doing. You get what I'm saying? So, when you see somebody out here and they carrying in a certain type of way, you gotta understand, first of all, if this person's not willing to communicate or be expressive, there is something going on. It's just that simple. It's that simple. And everything is, I don't want everybody in my business. Nah, bro, real shit. When some people just don't want to talk about certain shit, it's from a trustworthy source who's asking them to open the fuck up about it, and they keep evading it, it's trauma there, bro. I'm telling you from experience, bro. It is trauma there. A lot of y'all not gonna understand how deep that topic of what that rabbit hole can consist of, but just know, man, anytime you keep asking a person, that's like if you asking them somebody if they ever got touched on. If you, it's not the no, it's the body language of the no.
Message.
You know what I mean? Somebody got touched on, or was they being abused, physically, or you know what I mean, or whatever. You know what I mean, or you know what I mean. Were they ever put in situations where they might have had their health or their well-being continuously at stake because of another person's decisions? It's just so much other shit. Like, what was your family members or the people who were responsible for raising you, were they addicts? Or did you see them exemplifying certain addict behavior? Were there some type of mental illness that you witnessed and you didn't realize it was mental illness until you got older? These are a lot of things in different scenarios that you don't diagnose internally until you get in real life relationships with other people, or you get out here and you see other people and how they handle their situations, or you have certain friends or associates or just people that you get to monitor and just, you know what I mean, examine from afar and see how people talk about them and what they may have going on, and just let you understand everything that come with a bow on it ain't pretty.
Message.
See, the hardest thing we can do in life is keep pretending that we're okay. It's pretty much what I got for my nigga my nigga Gizzy. At the end of the day, it's not that I was pretending. He was just more so saying, hey, G, I'm like this, but at least I express it. You act like you ain't been through nothing.
Oh, shit.
You act like you ain't got no reason to be mad. Now, you might not have a reason to be mad like I am right now, but just understand, there's some shit in there. And when it come out, you better be ready for it. You better know how to tame that. I fight my demons daily. You let yours build. You sitting on yours. You got a whole alliance of trauma and pain in you that you not even expressing. And one thing the nigga opened my eyes up to was, it was a fucking big possibility of that was truth. The older I got, I had a daughter young, like I told y'all. I went through my own shares of shit, and I really had to open my eyes to everything I didn't want her to experience. See, you don't understand how fucked up you might be until you realize what you don't want your child or your children to experience. Because that's when you got to be like, damn, why the fuck would I feel like that? And then you got to relive. You got to revisit. You got to start unpacking within you or to somebody. Because the hardest thing to do, like I said, is to pretend. We'll talk about why next episode, man.
Oh shit! Oh shit!